today we are going to make a pizza casserole. We're going to use 3 different kinds of meat, and we are going to cook some ground meat. I have 1.5 pounds of ground meat. You probably could use just 1 pound, but that's how mine comes packed. You could also use sausage in a roll if you'd like. You may cook it the same way as I'm cooking the ground meat. Okay, I'm gonna start the ground meat on high. We're gonna fry our ground meat down until it's cooked. Right before it's almost cooked, I'm gonna add 1.5 cups, which is 1 large onion, and 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And we're gonna let that finish cooking with the ground meat. Okay, now that our ground meat is just about finished cooking, I'm gonna add 1 large onion. I chopped in my chopper. It's about 1.5 cups, 1 large. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oregano. And I'm going to add a little seasoning, a little bit of cayenne rico to salt and pepper it. Sprinkle a little bit on top, and I'm going to mix it all together and let it finish cooking. Okay, while my ground meat finishes cooking, I'm going to add 4 quarts of water, and I'm going to start boiling my noodles. I'm going to put 4 quarts of water in my noodle pot. Okay, while I cook my noodles, I'm going to put my ground meat on the back burner and let it simmer. Right here I have my 4 quarts of water for my noodles. I'm going to get the water to boiling. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. To my water. I'm gonna put the lid on my water so it'll start boiling faster. Okay, now that our water is boiling, we're gonna add our noodles. 1 pound. I have 1 pound of elbow macaroni. You can use any kind of noodles you would like. I wouldn't use long spaghetti noodles, but any kind of short noodles. So we're gonna cook these. On the package, it says you put them in after the water starts boiling, and then you let it start boiling again. Instead of 6 to 8 minutes, I'm only gonna boil them for 3.5. But we're gonna wait until they start again, and then we're gonna time them. 3.5 minutes. Okay, they're boiling. So on my timer, I don't have a half, so I'm just gonna put them for 4 minutes. And then I'm gonna turn the fire off at 3.5. You want to stir them and make sure they don't stick to the bottom. Okay, our noodles have been cooking for 3.5 minutes. So I'm going to turn the fire off, and I'm going to drain the noodles and get them ready to assemble our pizza casserole. Okay, now that we have our ground meat and our noodles ready, the noodles should be firm, not quite cooked all the way. We're going to start putting our casserole together. I have this tomato sauce. It's tomato basil spaghetti sauce, pasta sauce. We're gonna use it. This one is a 32 ounce, which you should use 2 26 ounce. So we're gonna have a little bit left over. So I'll use all of this one and 20 ounces out of my other jar. So we're gonna start with a little bit of the sauce in the bottom of the pan. Okay, now we're going to take 1/3 of our noodles, and we're going to layer it on top of our sauce that we put in our pan. Now we're going to take some of our sauce and put it over our noodles. A third of our sauce. Now we're going to take our ground meat, and we're going to put it over the top of the noodles. It's not quite gonna take all of our ground meat, so 1 pound probably would work perfect. Now we're gonna take 2 cups of mozzarella cheese and we're gonna sprinkle it over the ground meat. Okay, now we're going to take 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. And we'll put it on top. One tablespoon. Two tablespoons. It's long and difficult to measure. Okay. Now we're going to put some noodles. We're going to make our next layer. Okay, now we'll put our sauce. Okay, now we're going to take some ham. This is some cubed ham from the grocery store. It's 1.25 pounds. We're going to sprinkle that over the top of our noodles. Okay, I don't think it's going to take the whole 1.25 pounds. It'll probably just take 1 pound. We have about 1/4 pound left. Now we're going to take 2 cups of cheese. I have a cup of mozzarella and I'm going to put a cup of Monterey and Kobe Jack. Sprinkle this over the top of the ham. This is going to make for a full pan. Spread it out. And 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. Now we're going to take the rest of our noodles and we're going to put it over the top. This will be our last layer. If you add a little sauce to the noodles, they're not so sticky. I just didn't think about it. But you can add a little bit of the sauce to the noodles and they will just slide right on. Okay, now on the top of our noodles, we're gonna add our sauce. Which the sauce helps break them up and spread them out. Finish covering up our noodles. Okay. Now we're going to use 3 cheese Philadelphia. It's got Monterey Jack, Colby Jack, and cheddar. First we're going to put we have 2 cups of bacon bits. I'm going to sprinkle it over the sauce. These are real bacon that's already been cooked. Okay, now we're going to add our cheese on top of our bacon. And before we do that, we're going to preheat our oven to 375. And let that heat out while we finished our pizza casserole. You can use mozzarella cheese all the way through if you rather like to mix it up a little bit. is a 2-cup bag, 8 ounces. Make sure you get the cheese all the way to the edges. We're going to put our 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese over the top. Okay, there you have it. We're going to wait for our oven to heat up and we'll put it in there and we'll show you the end results. Okay, we let it cook for 40 minutes at 375. Took it out the oven. We've been letting it set for about 15 minutes. And now we're fixing to try it. Let's cut a piece and see how it's on the inside.